All right. Good morning, everyone. This edition of Trenchless Tuesday with Dawn LeBlanc, we're going to be going through a pipe that we inspected in New Hampshire, specifically in Bedford, right, Dawn, when I was out there?
That's correct.
Yeah. So we're just going to walk through this with you guys, kind of give you some takeaways, and then each edition of Trenchless Tuesday will be covering new topics, and some of them will be different pipes that we inspect and kind of what we see out in the field.
Absolutely.
So let's, as you guys can see, this was the water that we got to wade through. And lucky for me, Dawn had an extra set of muck boots because I didn't bring any. I do officially own my own mucks now, though, Dawn.
There you go. That's important.
It is.
We'll have to get you in some chest waders soon enough.
Yeah, I have a picture of me and your waders, actually, I think, on this slideshow.
There you go.
So this is the exact location of where we were under this highway, correct, Dawn?
Yeah, that's correct for New Hampshire DOT. Yep.
So I'm not sure what I took a picture of there. Is that just the 8-gauge steel?
Yeah, so as I guess I'll make a general point that what I try to do when we're inside culverts is make as many notes as possible. That's what are the conditions outside of on the outlet and the inlet side of the pipe. Also, what kind of pipe material or gauge, which is the thickness of the pipe in this scenario. It gives us a better understanding of the project. Maybe it's vintage. And what some of the physical traits are of a given hose pipe. So I like to try to jot down and take pictures of what gauge I might see, or even if there's a stamp on the manufacturer of that particular pipe at the time, gives us a better understanding of the project.
Right. We did take a lot of pictures and videos of this pipe as well.
Absolutely.
So here's just a view of us running down. So this is after Dawn and I actually walked through and turned around. So this is, you guys are looking at the outlet end, which is what we entered through.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I mean, in this scenario, as you guys can tell in this photo, we're inside of an existing multi-plate structure that's probably 1950s or 60s vintage. And this has definitely gotten to its useful service life. So you can see, Cassie, if you back up to the previous photo.
Yeah.
Or maybe if you skip ahead, I'm not sure if is it showing up on our screen here? There you go.
It's just slightly delayed.
Got it. Okay. So you can see some of the degradation down in the lower left-hand side of the photo there, and the fact that there's section loss starting to happen along basically the normal water surface elevation within that pipe. So it's definitely lost its hoop strength in many areas along the pipe, and that's exactly the reason why the state elected to put this one up for a rehab project.
Yeah. So here is Dawn and I, we're just kind of looking at some of the rust around the bolts in this picture, I believe.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So oftentimes just trying to
you can see
what the failure mechanism is within a hose pipe, and I mean, most of the time in the invert is the cause of them, but I mean, if we're inside of a concrete pipe, obviously it's usually the joints that can be the major cause of the hiccup. But I mean, we've seen some crazy things. Cassie, you were with me on that one for MassDOT, where the bolts had actually started to shear behind.
Yeah.
We suspect because of the fact that there was 80 feet of cover on top of that. So in that sense, it wasn't just the invert that was the failure mechanism, but it was all the dead load on top of that culvert over the last 60, 70 years that caused that thing to start to shear off, and those bolts to start to actually fold in on themselves.
Yeah, and I think you were showing me in this picture as well, since the bolts were rusted out on the bottom, how you could count them on the top, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So here's just some close-up pictures to give you guys an idea of what we're looking for. Obviously, this one was already specified in failure mode by the state so that they are going to repair it. Dawn and I just went to take a closer look. So Dawn would have a good idea on suggestions of product materials that could be lining it, could line this pipe.
So that
Here,
one,
go ahead.
go ahead.
I was gonna say, this is truly a chunk of pipe I'm holding that is just gone. This is the inlet side, and you can see the beavers have built up their own dam on this inlet side. So if we were to kick those branches away, we would have washed out with this water of this pipe, which was a little frightening. Let's see here. There's a
Where
good
you're standing there, you probably know. So there's a good photo, you and I talking it up.
Yeah.
But what was your biggest takeaway as you're standing at that inlet there, as far as like when a contractor goes into this and you see about the 2-lane highway up above, digging this thing out, in your opinion, would have been quite extensive, right?
Oh yeah, this was hundreds of feet, didn't we figure?
It's a couple 100 foot. There was power
Yeah.
lines right over this thing.
Mhm.
For a variety of reasons, dig and replace and do nothing, which is our other major competition, right, is the do nothing approach, is not an option. Your do nothing approach here, as you can see, I love this photo because you can see multiple areas of failure.
Yeah.
You know, to the right of your feet, Cassie, you see, to the right of your right foot, you see
Oh, my right foot right here.
exactly, yeah. You can
Yeah.
see the pipe has just basically started to disconnect from itself there. And you're
And you can see up here too, Don, look at it's starting to shear up on the top from the
yeah,
highway low.
little bit, yeah. Well, it's basically folding, it's flattening out on itself because it's lost its hoop strength, right?
Right.
So I like that photo. It's quite definitive.
Yeah. And actually, it's a little video. I don't know how well it'll play,
This is the upstream end of Bedford.
but
Yeah,
it's a little breaky because of us being on the go-to webinar. But yeah,
Sure.
I think that's a really good one. Here's another picture of the imprint, which is really hard to read, but
So I can actually tell that says Contec on it. So this is, you know, if you're looking at the very bottom, it's written diagonally. You can see the CONTE there.
yep, you can see an ASHTO.
You can see multi-plate, ASHTO 167, it looks like.
Yep, it looks like 167.
Coating. So you can tell exactly what it was when it was put in the ground.
Yeah, and you can see right here, I mean, literally this piece of pipe on that bottom is gone. And this is back to where we entered the pipe. So this was the outlet end.
Those boots just barely got you covered through that pipe there.
Yeah, you can see a little water on my jeans. Anyway, though, so this was a great experience for me. This was one of the first culverts I got to walk through, put boots on with Dawn. And then over the next few days, we went through quite a few more. So we'll probably highlight some of those on some other Trenchless Tuesdays.
Yeah, I think it would be great if we follow up the importance of culvert inspection with a couple more Trenchless Tuesdays and talk about, you know, some of the key variables that why an entity like the New Hampshire DOT or others consider rehab and reline versus dig and replace or do nothing, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So it'd be great to follow this up.
Yeah. Thank you guys. As always, we appreciate it. Keep us, keep the ideas coming on what you want us to talk about. We're here for you. Thanks, Dawn.
Thank you, Cassie.